some places in Mexico look perfect online. Ocean view, new condo, low price, big rental promise. But that does not always mean it is a smart place for an American to buy. So when I say where not to buy, I'm not going to call entire cities bad. That would be misleading. Instead, I'll show you 5 types of places, and the market patterns Americans should evaluate very carefully before they buy. By the end, you should know what kind of location pattern to avoid, even when the city itself looks attractive. Fast-growing beach areas, condo-heavy tourist corridors, remote land zones, hard-to-visit, hard-to-manage areas, and pre-construction heavy development markets. This is not a list of bad cities. This is a list of bad buying situations. Pause here because this is the part many buyers miss. A place can be beautiful. A place can be popular. It can even be right for some buyers, but that does not mean every property in that market is a smart purchase. So the safer question is not, is this city good or bad? The safer question is, what could make this specific buying situation risky for me? The first type of place I would be careful with is a fast-growing beach market, where excitement may be moving faster than the real numbers. This is the kind of coastal market where the beach looks perfect, the new condo renderings look expensive, and the sales message sounds very confident. You may see this pattern in some fast-growing beach areas, including parts of markets like the Riviera Maya. That does not mean every property there is bad. It means you have to separate the dream from the deal, because a famous location is not automatically a safe purchase, and a beautiful beach market can still become a bad investment if the price does not support the purchase, if the rental assumptions are too optimistic, if the carrying costs are too high, or if resale demand is weaker than buyers assume. The question is not, is this place popular? The question is, are the numbers still real? Before I would buy in a market like that, I would want to see real comparable sales, real rental history, real carrying costs, and one uncomfortable answer. Who would buy this from me later if I needed to sell? The second type of place is a rental-heavy condo tourist corridor, the kind of area where buyers are not just buying a property, they are buying the idea that the property will rent enough to help pay for itself. And that assumption is where the risk begins. This can happen in popular tourist corridors where many similar condos are competing for the same short-term renters. Again, that does not mean the whole area is bad. It means the rental promise needs proof. My rule is simple. Rental income is not real to me until I see the proof behind it. Are those projected numbers? Or real numbers? Who manages the property? What are the HOA fees? How many similar rentals are nearby? And what happens in the slow season? Because the purchase price is only the first number. The monthly carrying cost is the number that decides whether this feels like an investment or just another bill. The third type of place I would be careful with is any area that may be hard to visit, hard to manage, or hard to resell. This is not about panic. It is about practicality. A property can look good on paper, but if it is difficult to reach, difficult to service, or difficult for future buyers to feel comfortable with, ownership can become much harder than the listing makes it seem. So before buying, ask 4 simple questions. Can I comfortably visit this property? Can guests or renters get there safely? Can a property manager operate there reliably? And if I need to sell, will other buyers feel comfortable considering that location? Before serious money moves, check current travel advisories, access, and local conditions. Not once, not casually, before the decision is real. If you want the full step-by-step buying process, I break that down in a separate video on how Americans buy property in Mexico. But stay with this first, because the location decision comes before almost everything else, and the wrong one can create problems before you ever reach the closing table. The fourth type of place I would be careful with is remote cheap land, especially land far from proven roads, utilities, services, legal support, property management, and real resale demand. Cheap is not the same as safe, and cheap is not the same as usable. This is where buyers can make an expensive mistake because the purchase price looks low. But then the real questions begin. Is there road access? Water? Electricity? Clear title? A realistic building path? And real resale demand? A cheap piece of land can become expensive if it has no practical path forward. The fifth type of place I would be careful with is a pre-construction heavy market where the promise is bigger than the proof. This is not always about one city. It can happen in fast-growing development zones where buyers are being sold future growth, future rental income, and future lifestyle before enough proof exists. A beautiful rendering is not a finished property. A sales brochure is not proof of delivery, and a discount is not protection. Before you send major money, ask, who is the developer? What have they already completed? Are permits in place? How are payments structured? What happens if there is a delay? And what legal protection exists before the property is delivered? This is where I would slow down, because once money moves, your leverage can change. So when you hear where not to buy, don't think only about city names. Think about the situation behind the location. Is it a fast-growing beach market where the numbers do not support the story? A rental-heavy condo corridor where the income is only projected? A beautiful area that is hard to visit, manage, or resell? Cheap remote land without the infrastructure to support it? Or a pre-construction market where the proof is not there yet? That is the real checklist. The city name matters, but the buying situation matters more. That is the safer way to think about where not to buy, not by judging the city, by judging the purchase. My honest view is this. I would not buy in Mexico just because a place looks beautiful, and I would not avoid a place just because someone online says it is risky. The smarter question is, does this specific purchase make sense? The location, the price, the documents, the access, the management, and the resale path all have to support the decision. That is how you protect yourself. You buy the process, not just the dream. If you want to understand the full buying process before you choose a location, watch this next. How Americans buy property in Mexico. That video shows what to check before you choose, sign, send money, or move toward closing.